friends, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion, and I am coming to you from a very cold and windy, even though I'm wearing no jacket, Chicago, Illinois. I think you're gonna enjoy today. This is the first time I've ever vlogged in Chicago. I've only ever been here one time. I stayed here for one day then, and I'm excited to do today's vlog. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins right now. I think we gotta start our day over here today at Buckingham Fountain. You know me, I love street art, and I love this street art. Awesome. We're gonna be walking through Montgomery Ward Gardens to get there, and that's Montgomery Ward. I'm gonna make, I think, 3 videos while I'm here in Chicago, but I had to start with this one because this is such a great memory from my youth. Look at this, they even have a stairwell that goes up so you can get close to the statue up there. I'm also loving these old-time street lamps. Those are great. So many interesting things to see in this park as we pass through. I think we're only like 2 more walking minutes away. Then we just gotta cross over this bridge right over here. Should be right on the other side. Oh, look at these. These are great. Statues of the flowers. They're all made of metal. Look incredible too. Oh, we made it over here to Clarence Buckingham Memorial Fountain, and you aren't gonna believe it. Well, here it is. To quote the great Kurt Cobain, wouldn't you believe it, it's just my luck. They have the fountain off. This is Buckingham Fountain. This is one of my favorite memories from being a child. This is the opening of Sunday Nights, Married with Children, Al Bundy. When I think of Chicago, I think of basically 3 things: Harry Carey, Michael Jordan, and Al Bundy. I can't believe I finally made it out here to see this place. What an amazing show. I mean, you gotta imagine, I was 6 years old when the show came on the air, and Fox had just come on the air at that point anyway. The way you can tell this is the exact shot is you can see this in the those classic opening credits, and then you can match up this building, and you can match up that building, and that one. But when Fox first came on the air, they were trying to compete against the 4 major networks, CBS, NBC, and ABC at that time, and they figured, well, you know, probably the best way to do it is to A, appeal to teenagers. We'll just go walk around this fountain as we talk because there's some really amazing pieces of art in there. They figured A, appeal to teenagers, and B, do what the other networks aren't doing. Do the exact type of shows they're not doing. So when the Cosby Show and Cheers and things like that were on the air, they decided to go completely different, and they started up a section of their company to do original programming. And so the original Sunday night lineup of original programming shows was Tracy Ullman's show, 21 Jump Street, and of course Married with Children. So a lot of the success for this could kind of go to Garth Answer, who was the head of Fox at that time. They gave him all the creative control to do the programming, and he hired Ron Levitt and Michael Moy to be the guys who headed up Married with Children. Now their first thought was, you know, let's do the anti-American family. You know, instead of, you know, father coming home and the kids running up and hugging him and the wife being happy to see him, let's do the opposite. Let's do a father who's sad to come home and his kids don't care that he's there and his wife doesn't want him to be there. And the first thought they had was, you know, they loved Sam Kinison. They loved his act, all the screaming, how down on marriage he was and everything, and they liked Roseanne. So they thought, bingo, neither one of them are super huge yet. Offer this to them, done deal. Fox approved the show, and then once they offered it to Sam Kinison and Roseanne, both of their managers said they don't want to do TV, they're going to be movie stars, and they both passed on it. So this was kind of a huge problem because without them, they really had no show. But the casting director that they were working with said, you know, we have a lot of great actors in this town. Let's just try some out. And so the producers, the guys who were running the show, Michael Moy, he knew right away he wanted David Garrison. He wanted this guy as Steve Rhodes. They'd worked with him before. He was a really dependable, professional actor, and he was funny. And they knew exactly, they knew they could get out of him what they wanted out of Steve. And then they auditioned a bunch of people, found Amanda, who became Marcy Darcy. Well, first Marcy Rhodes, then Marcy Darcy, and then they found Katie Seagal, who, you know, they said at first we thought we want a couch potato, but Katie brought a different spin to the character. She was a couch potato that still cared about her looks. She still thought she was young. She still dressed like she was young, kind of like this, like an ex barmaid who never gave up, thinking that she was, you know, gonna get picked up by like a rich guy any night. Said she just always had that impression, or that thought for her character to always be looking good. And then they found basically the whole cast except for Al. They auditioned thousands of people and could not find an Al Bundy because everybody wanted to play it. Apparently, like like Michael Moy said, everybody just did it like Ralph Cramden. They did the Jackie Gleason, and that's not what we were looking for. So they said that someone had seen Ed O'Neill in a couple of things and said, this guy, you know, he's got something. They had seen him in a play, and they had also seen him on a short-lived TV show, and they thought, you know, let's try this guy. And so they brought him into audition by himself, not part of a casting call or anything, just called him in. Michael Moy said, I walked in there and I'm thinking, what's this guy gonna bring us? You know, he's a dramatic actor, we want a comedian. And he said the first thing that Ed did was he walked in having just left a racquetball game and was all sweaty, walked in and opened the door and then just exhaled, looked down and just exhaled as though he had just accepted that this was his life. And Michael Moy said, that was genius. That right there, I said, he is Al Bundy. He's a man who knows that his impending doom is his own family. And one of the things that Ron Levitt and Michael Moy said they loved most about Ed O'Neill was that one of the things he always did was he always portrayed Al as though his life smelled, like it smelled bad. And so they said if you watch him, his reaction is never to get mad, or like his reaction whenever he would do anything was always to have this look on his face as though he was smelling something bad. And Ed O'Neill said he loved to play Al Bundy because he just thought Al was such like a dimwit and such like a simple man, and just had such primitive thoughts and just said whatever came to his mind, and it was actually really funny. So I want to take off from here. This was kind of a bummer to want to come here for so many years and then the fountain not be on. So we're gonna head out to the family home. Hopefully the next time we come through here, they'll have the fountain on. But before I go, I want to show you one other thing. They actually have a scene in National Lampoon's Vacation right here going past this fountain. So our shot in National Lampoon's Vacation is actually looking at us. The Griswolds would have been driving right by here, and the camera would have been right there in the center facing us, and you actually see them passing this. I'm so excited. Who else is excited? Can I get a whoa Bundy? Whoa Bundy! Now we are over in Deerfield. You know, I'd seen in different reports back in the day when the show was getting really popular that Ed O'Neill kind of let fame go to his head. And over time, Amanda, who played Marcy, became one of the directors. And I had heard an interview where Ed O'Neill said something that he regretted that he did was one time they weren't getting along, and she came up and basically said, you know, what's your problem with me? And was arguing with him, and he said, you know, Amanda, I have something that you don't have. I have a button. I can push that button, make that phone call, and you're gone. You can't do that. You don't have a button. And he said that kind of minimized her in the show, and he said he never really thought that recovered, and always regretted saying it. So it was kind of sad that even though the show lasted 11 seasons, they never really had a good send-off or anything. It just kind of ended. I mean, they kind of all internally thought that it was going to end, but they never did a proper ending to the show. But we've made it over to the house. Let's check it out. One of those bedrooms up there could have very well been Al and Peggy's. Kind of got to wonder which house over here is the Rhodes house, and then later the Darcy's house, because right behind us is the Bundys. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm finally seeing it for myself with my very own eyes. I know they only used it for the exterior shots, but to see the Bundy house is just amazing for me. I love this show so much, so much. It slowly became like a comedic necessity for television. After a couple of years, you know it's good when somebody starts complaining and a woman started writing letters trying to get it taken off the air, so that gave it even more publicity. But this show is just amazing. It was Al Bundy, the shoe salesman, who once had been a high school football hero, 4 touchdowns in 1 game, and now he was selling shoes. So many great episodes here. I just look at that garage and I think of when he made his own room out there with his own toilet, and the time he was working on the Dodge, the time the Dodge was going to roll over to 1,000,000 miles and they were going to give him a Dodge Viper as a reward, and he screws that up. Just thinking of the barbecues they had here, the time that he was having the Labor Day barbecue, and every time he gave Peg a job to do and she would actually do the job, it would turn him on. And then they spilled the ashes for his grill, and that was like the secret to his Bundy burgers. So the family ends up replacing the ashes with Marcy's dead aunt's ashes that she had just gotten. And then it's so funny because Marcy would need a burger, and then finally she breaks down to eat one, and she's eating, you know, one that was cooked on her aunt's ashes, and they tell Steve, and Steve hated the aunt because she left all of her money to her cats, so he's got a big grin on his face while he's eating it. And just to see like the front door, how many times Al would have beaten up one of Kelly's dates coming in that door. Oh, so cool. Their dog Buck. The whole era of when Bud became Grandmaster B. Oh man, what a great show. I love seeing this. This was always one of those things that was on my kind of my bucket list of filming locations, the Bundy house. Oh man. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you all for watching. We're gonna call it a day from Chicago, Illinois, in the home of Al Bundy. Have a great night and goodbye.